If you've ever visited Japan, there's a very good chance you went home with a box of sweets or cookies, cakes, or chocolate you were told you just had to buy. Tokyo banana, Shiroi koibito, Royce chocolate, one of the myriad Kit Kat flavors that Japan is famous for, or at the very least maybe something matcha flavored that looked important. Japanese baked sweets are famous, but they're also fragile, sometimes heavy, take up a lot of room in your suitcase, and honestly kind of stressful to pack. Today I want to talk about two Japanese desserts that most tourists, and even a lot of non-Japanese people living in Japan, don't really know about at all, even though they're very easy to find, easy to make, and much easier to take home than most souvenir sweets. One is modern, nostalgic, and quietly beloved in Japan. The other is traditional, comforting, sweet but not really a dessert, and almost completely invisible to visitors. These are Fruche and Kuzuyu. Now, before we get started, just a quick reminder that if you like this video or topic, or just interesting things about Japan in general, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with anyone you think might enjoy it. It really helps. Let's start with Fruche, because this one surprises almost everyone the first time they try it. Fruche is a fruit dessert mix that's been sold in Japan since 1976, and despite being around for decades, it somehow never made it into the standard Japan snack hall conversation for tourists. It's something most Japanese people recognize instantly, but tourists usually walk right past it without noticing, usually because it's sold primarily in supermarkets rather than souvenir shops, and also because the packaging in general doesn't have any English. I actually first tried Fruche during a hospital stay in Japan, which might not sound like the most exciting food memory, but it was genuinely the best thing I ate that entire week, and I still remember it very clearly. Fruche is one of those desserts that doesn't try very hard to be beautiful or expensive, and that's kind of the point. What Fruche actually is a no-cook dessert base that turns into a creamy, fruity pudding when you add milk. The texture sits somewhere between yogurt, mousse, and jelly, and it's soft, smooth, and light without feeling watery. It's sweet, but not aggressively sweet, and it has just enough acidity from the fruit to keep it refreshing. Fruche is very much a home dessert. It's something people make when they want something comforting but don't want to bake, or really even measure out ingredients, or even turn on the stove. It's especially popular with kids, but plenty of adults love it too, even if they don't always admit it. Making Fruche is almost suspiciously easy. Picture instructions are on the packaging and the inside pack. What you'll need to make it is a mixing bowl. The picture on the packaging says you need a spoon, though I guess you could use a fork as well. I'm going to try to get a couple different textures, so I'll also try with a whisk and a mixer. If you're separating the finished Fruche ahead of time, you'll need some serving bowls at this stage. The package says it makes 4 servings, but I'm going to make 3. The one actual measuring you're going to need is for the milk, so you'll need a measuring cup. And the aforementioned milk. Regular Japanese milk is a bit over 3% fat content, so it's probably best to look for that percentage of milk. I have no idea how it would turn out with skim or lower fat milk, but if you're going to try it, let us know in the comments below. The recipe calls for 200 milliliters of milk, which is about 6.7 fluid ounces. On another side note, measuring cups in Japan can be a bit confusing as their conversion of milliliters to cups is not exactly the same as the West. But since we're sticking to milliliters here for this recipe, it's not really an issue. Next, you open the packet. So much for Japanese packaging, which I usually consider the most innovative and convenient in the world. Guess not this time. Pour the contents into the mixing bowl. You can see some chunks of real fruit, in this case peaches. Add your cold milk. And mix it with a spoon or a fork. You'll see some immediate changes, but you should keep mixing for a minute or two. Now in actuality, you should probably mix it for a bit longer time, but because I'm trying a couple of different styles, I'm separating some of this initial batch into a serving bowl for later. You can see the texture has thickened already. Next, I'll continue mixing with a whisk to see if the texture changed at all. I think it did a little, but I'm going all in, so here we go with a mixer. The texture did seem to become a bit smoother, so I'm happy with this. Let's transfer into the two remaining serving bowls. Don't forget to get as much as possible. Cover and put in the fridge for when you're going to eat it later. The most common flavor is strawberry, but you'll also see peach, orange, pineapple, and melon, and other fruits, including regional versions that use local fruit, which makes them especially fun to bring home. In terms of taste, Fruche is gentle and comforting. It's not rich like cake or custard, and it doesn't leave you feeling overly full. Nutritionally, it's not pretending to be health food, but it is relatively low in fat compared to baked desserts, and because it's made with milk, it does provide some calcium. It's also easy to digest, which is exactly why it shows up in places like hospitals. For tourists, though, the real appeal is practical. Fruche is shelf-stable, lightweight, and doesn't crumble, melt, or expire in 3 days. You can put it in your suitcase without worrying, and months later, when you make it at home, it instantly brings you back to Japan. Now, the second dessert I'm going to talk about couldn't be more different. Kuzuyu is a traditional Japanese hot drink made from kudzu starch. This one has been part of Japanese food culture for centuries and has strong associations with winter, wellness, and traditional sweets. Kuzuyu is warm, slightly thick, and lightly sweet, sitting somewhere between a drink and a dessert. It's the kind of thing you sip slowly rather than drink it quickly, and it feels intentionally calming and warming. Historically, kudzu has been used in Japanese cooking and confectionery for a very long time, especially in wagashi, or traditional sweets. Kuzuyu was commonly consumed in colder months or when someone wasn't feeling well, because it's gentle on the stomach and warming to the body. Even today, it's still served at ryokan, sold in wagashi shops, and made at home, although tourists almost never encounter it unless someone specifically introduces them to it. Modern kuzuyu is incredibly easy to prepare. Most versions are sold as single-serving packets. All you need is a cup or a mug, get some water boiling, add the powder into the cup, then the boiling water, and stir it until it becomes glossy and smooth. And that's it. Some varieties are plain and lightly sweet, while others include ginger, yuzu, or plum. Ginger kuzuyu in particular has a warming quality that feels almost medicinal in the best possible way. The taste of kuzuyu is subtle. It's mildly sweet, silky, and smoothing with a texture that feels comforting rather than strange. Nutritionally, it's very low in fat, easy to digest, and naturally gluten-free. Traditionally, it's believed to warm the body and soothe the throat, which is why it's often given to elderly people or anyone who's tired or under the weather. It's not flashy, but it's a deeply thoughtful food, or drink in this case. Like Fruche, kuzuyu is also perfect for travelers. It's sold as dry powder, often individually wrapped, extremely light, and has a long shelf life. You can bring it home without any stress, and when you drink it later, it feels like a quiet moment of Japan rather than a loud souvenir. The best part about both Fruche and Kuzuyu is that they're not hard to find and relatively inexpensive. You don't need to go to a specialty shop or tourist area. You can buy them at almost any supermarket in Japan, many drugstores, and sometimes even convenience stores. They're everyday items hiding in plain sight. Japan is famous for its desserts, but the most interesting ones aren't always the ones stacked in gift boxes. Sometimes they're simple, humble, and sitting on a supermarket shelf. And honestly, those are often the ones that stay with you the longest. Thanks for watching this video, and if you enjoyed it and are interested in little things about Japan, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the channel with other people who might be interested. Thanks again, once more from Tidbits from Japan.